What is the single biggest difference between the rich and the poor? Is it their bank account? Their car? Their house? No, it's smaller than that. It's invisible. It's a set of daily habits, tiny, almost unnoticeable actions, stacked day after day that create two completely different realities. The rich don't just have more money. They do things differently. Here on TechMirror, we're not about judgment. We're about decoding the systems of success. This isn't about shaming anyone. This is about decoding the blueprint. Because if you can understand the habits that build poverty, you can replace them with the habits that build wealth. Today, we're dissecting 14 traps, 14 common habits that keep people financially stuck. And we'll contrast them with the wealth-building habits of the successful. Stick around, because number 12 might be the most important one you hear all year. Now, let's get one thing straight. Are there systemic issues? Yes. Is luck a factor? Absolutely. We can't control the economy or where we were born. But this channel, TechMirror, is about focusing 100% on what we can control. Our habits, our mindset, our actions. The rich I'm talking about aren't just people who inherited money. I'm talking about the new rich. People who built their wealth, the self-made, the financially free. They don't just have more money. They think differently about money, time, and life. So let's put a mirror up to our own habits. Let's be honest. How many of these 14 traps are you falling into? Habit number 1. Blame versus ownership. The poor-minded blame the government, their boss, their parents, the economy. Everyone but themselves. It's always someone else's fault. The wealthy-minded practice radical ownership. They see failure as feedback. If the economy is bad, they pivot. If their boss is terrible, they learn what not to do as a leader and build their own path. They take responsibility for their actions, their feelings, and their results. Habit number 2. Saving versus investing. The poor-minded believe saving is enough. We're taught to save our money, put it in a bank account. But they stop there. They think saving $100 makes them $100 richer. The rich know that saving is for safety, but investing is for wealth. Inflation eats your savings. That $100 in the bank will be worth less next year. The wealthy put their money to work in assets like stocks, businesses, and real estate. So their money makes more money while they sleep. Habit number 3. Buying liabilities versus buying assets. The poor-minded buy liabilities they think are assets. This is a big one. They get a raise and immediately buy a new car on a 7-year loan. They buy the new flagship phone on a payment plan. They buy branded clothes on credit. The rich understand the difference. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. The rich buy assets first. They use the cash flow from their assets, like dividends or rental income, to then pay for their luxuries. The poor buy luxuries first, and they pay for them with their own time and labor. Habit number 4. Consumers versus creators. The poor-minded passively consume. They scroll endlessly on social media. They binge watch 10 hours of streaming content. They are spectators in their own lives. The wealthy-minded create or learn. They spend their free time reading books, taking online courses, building a side hustle, or working on a new skill. They ask, how can I use this platform? Not, how can this platform entertain me? Habit number 5. Linear income versus scalable income. The poor-minded trade time for money. They have one income stream, their 9-to-5 job. To make more money, they have to work more hours. Their income is capped by the 24 hours in a day. The rich build scalable systems. They build a business. They create software. They write a book. They create a YouTube channel. They build something that can divorce their income from their time. They build things that work for them 24/7. Habit number 6. Scarcity versus abundance mindset. The poor-minded see the world as a zero-sum game. If you win, it means they lose. They are jealous of others' success. They hoard information and are afraid of competition. The wealthy-minded operate from an abundance mindset. They know there is more than enough to go around. They collaborate. They celebrate others' wins, knowing that success is not a limited resource. They create value, knowing the market will reward them. Habit number 7. Comfort versus growth. The poor-minded prioritize comfort. They avoid risk. They stay in the job they hate because it's safe. They avoid difficult conversations. They want life to be easy. The rich understand that growth only happens in discomfort. They take calculated risks. They have the tough conversations. They launch the project before it's quote-unquote perfect. They actively seek out challenges because they know that pressure is what creates diamonds. Habit number 8. Neglecting health versus prioritizing energy. The poor-minded see healthy food, gym memberships, and good sleep as luxuries they can't afford. They fuel themselves with cheap, processed food and sacrifice sleep for entertainment. The wealthy know their health is their single greatest asset. You can't build an empire if you're sick and tired. They invest in their health, good food, exercise, and sleep, because it's the foundation for the energy and mental clarity they need to perform at their peak. Habit number 9. Toxic network versus curated circle. The poor-minded surround themselves with other negative, skeptical people who reinforce their limiting beliefs. They're crabs in a bucket, pulling down anyone who tries to climb out. The rich curate their inner circle. They actively seek out mentors. They join masterminds. They surround themselves with people who are more successful, more ambitious, and more disciplined than they are. They know your network is your net worth. Habit number 10. Financial ignorance versus tracking. The poor-minded practice financial ignorance. They are afraid to look at their bank account. They don't know their net worth. They don't have a budget. They have no idea where their money is actually going. The wealthy track everything. They are meticulous. They have a budget. They review their P&L statements. They know their net worth, their savings rate, and their investment returns. You cannot fix what you do not measure. Habit number 11. Defense spending versus offense earning. The poor-minded focus on saving small, not earning big. They focus on clipping coupons and skipping the $5 latte. While being frugal is good, they put 100% of their energy into defense, saving pennies, and 0% into offense, earning dollars. The rich understand that there is a limit to how much you can save, but no limit to how much you can earn. They spend their mental energy on the offense, developing high-income skills, building a second income stream, and negotiating for higher pay. Habit number 12. Static learning versus lifelong education. The poor-minded stop learning. They believe that learning stops when they get their diploma or degree. They stop reading books. They stop acquiring new skills. They become obsolete. The rich are obsessive, lifelong learners. The average CEO reads 50 to 60 books a year. They listen to podcasts. They hire coaches. They attend seminars. They know that the more you learn, the more you can earn. Their education never ever stops. Habit number 13. Instant gratification versus long-term play. The poor-minded focus on the short term. They live for the weekend. They are driven by immediate gratification. They get their paycheck and spend it today. They can't see past next month. The rich are long-term players. They are willing to look quote-unquote stupid for 5 years to be quote-unquote brilliant in 10. They make daily sacrifices for a future decade. They plant trees they may never sit under. They play the long game. Habit number 14. Waiting for permission versus proactive action. And finally, the poor-minded wait. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for someone to discover them. They wait for permission to start their business, ask for the raise, or write their book. The wealthy-minded give themselves permission. They are proactive. They have a bias for action. They know that perfect is the enemy of done, and that someday is not a day of the week. They start now with what they have from where they are. So, there you have it. 14 habits. Look, if you heard this list and felt defensive or even a little guilty, that's good. It means you're self-aware. The goal here isn't to feel bad. The goal is to identify. You don't escape poverty by getting a lucky break. You escape it by changing your habits. You don't get rich overnight. You get rich by stacking better daily decisions, day after day, year after year, until your entire system for living is one that produces wealth. It's not about being rich versus poor. It's about a poverty mindset versus a wealth mindset. And the good news, you can change your mindset starting today. Start with 1. Just pick one of these 14 things. Stop blaming and take ownership of one small thing. Swap 30 minutes of scrolling for 30 minutes of reading. Track your expenses for just 1 week. Small hinges swing big doors. We're all about building those systems here on TechMirror. If you got value from this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells the algorithm this is a conversation worth having. And subscribe for more videos on decoding the systems of success. Now for the community. What is the #1 habit on this list you are going to work on this week? Leave it in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable. Thanks for watching. Now go build.